it going. Hey team, wanted to send a proper thank you to you for the music and the gift certificate you gave me to End of an Ear. And I'm not sure if you've ever seen, but on YouTube there's a series of videos called What's in My Bag. They film them in Amoeba Records in California and San Francisco, Berkeley. There used to be one in LA, but no longer. And musicians and celebrities and entertainers go in, they give them a gift certificate, they buy a bunch of music, and then they film it, tell them what's in the bag. So this is my version of that. So anyway, it's a proper thank you for what you've done for me. So let's get started. The first one is Spoon, Austin's very own Kill the Moonlight. So this is the Spoon I love. They're still recording records, and I think they're still great, but this is like early 2000s, back in their most bare and stripped down. These days I think they kind of overanalyze things, but I love this record. It's on Matador Records. There's a really cool song on here, the second one, The Way We Get By. It's kind of a mini anthem for these times that we find ourselves in, but although I don't condone what they're telling you to do to get by here. But anyway, great record by Spoon. Also on Matador Records, another oldie but goodie, again rounding out my collection here, is Cat Power, You Are Free. Early 2000s. Cat Power is a recording artist. Her real name is Shawn Marshall. Special in our house because our second date, my wife Jamie and I, who's filming here, was at a Cat Power show. So somebody we've always admired very, very much. She has painful stage fright, by the way, or she used to. I've never seen it. We've seen her a few times, but apparently she does at times. But this is a great record, Cat Power, You Are Free. Let's see, next, new music now. Nick Cave, who typically is Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, but this is a solo concert called Idiot Prayer, and he filmed this in the beginning of the pandemic. This is at a place called Alexandra Palace in England, and it's just him and piano, and it's some different versions of some of his best songs. It's kind of a ode to these times, these coronavirus times that we find ourselves, the solitude, but great, great artist. If you ever have a chance to see Nick Cave live, you absolutely have to do it. One of the most transcendent kind of concerts I ever saw was Nick Cave in San Francisco with Jamie. So great, great artist. A bit tortured at times, but that's okay. An old one, so Changes, one with Bowie. I typically don't buy kind of compilations or best ofs, but I love David Bowie, and January is an anniversary of his first year of his passing, and so it's kind of a fit moment in time for this. But also I bought it because I think that Obi will like all these songs on here, and sure enough, the first night we were listening to it, he was dancing to Jean Genie, right? We have a cool video of that. So anyway, it's very accessible Bowie. I like his full albums, but I bought that for that reason. And next is the late great Gram Parsons, GP. Another example of somebody, an artist that died way too young, 26 years old, I think. So I've always said that there's nary a day that goes by where I don't listen to a little Gram Parsons, and that's probably true. Jamie could probably attest to that, whether it's himself and just Emmylou Harris, who was a young Emmylou Harris on this album, probably in her late teens or 20s. The bands he got started with were the Byrds, and then also the Flying Burrito Brothers, but this is a fantastic album. GP, so Cosmic American Music is what he called it. So anyway, another one that died too young. So a little jazz, starting my collection with Wes Montgomery, great jazz guitarist. I'm usually not a big fan of jazz guitarists, but Wes Montgomery is at a level above and league all his own. So this is called Moving Along. It's on Riverside Records, which was sometimes overshadowed by Impulse and Blue Note and Columbia and Verve, but great label out of New York City. The thing I love about jazz records are the liner notes on the back. They're just like, they always tell you so much about the making of the music. He's from Indianapolis. I didn't know that until reading this. But he records with Sam Jones and James Clay, who I don't know, Victor Feldman, who I don't know, and Louis Haynes, who I don't know. And so one thing about jazz records is they always tell you who are the studio musicians, session musicians, and then you can kind of explore who they recorded with, what they did on their own. So it's kind of like a early analog algorithm maybe. So But anyway, great jazz record. Old. This is from '62, I think. Yeah, probably about '62. So another jazz record, Keith Jarrett Trio with Gary Peacock. I don't know him. Jack DeJohnette, I do know him. He's a major dude in jazz. But Keith Jarrett's, everything else I have with Keith Jarrett is kind of solo piano. This is actually with bass and drums. It's recorded live in Stockholm. And no liner notes on this one actually, but you know, a lot of great jazz artists went over to Scandinavia and Sweden, and those countries were always very well accepted. So some of his best work actually comes out of live in Oslo. There's a great one. Stockholm and Vienna is another really great one. But anyway, mostly solo piano, very quiet. This is actually with a small band, but super mellow. This is kind of late night music. And then you'll have to help me with pronunciation, Jamie, but Waxahachie.
Waxahachie.
Waxahachie is also a town in Texas, I think.
Yeah, near south of Dallas.
South of Dallas. We stopped there and had some brisket in our recent kind of road trip up through Arkansas, Kansas, and Oklahoma. But Waxahachie is really good stuff. This is on Merge Records, by the way, which is a fantastic label out of Chapel Hill. I've followed for many, many years. So I think this is kind of like a more mature version of a band I love called the County Liners. She has an imperfect voice, but it's perfect for the type of music that she makes, which is kind of country Americana kind of stuff. Really great singer-songwriter. So highly recommend. This is brand new, just out. And then finally, Sun Kil Moon, Ghosts of the Great Highway. Sun Kil Moon is the recording name of a guy named Mark Kozelek out of San Francisco, who, if there's these albums that if you're on a desert island, the albums that you might choose to have with you on that desert island, this is probably one of them. Ghosts of the Great Highway, early 2000s. It's been around a long time. Great Highway is a road that goes right along Ocean Beach in San Francisco. So I used to drive that multiple times a week, and it's super inspiring. But anyway, Sun Kil Moon is fantastic. This is a double album. Some of the best songs on here are Carry Me Ohio, and then there's a really cool 12-minute song about Duck Koo Kim, who was a boxer that got killed in the ring by Ray Boom Boom Mancini, if I remember right. And it's kind of an ode to one of the common themes with Mark Kozelek is he writes a lot about boxers, and so that's a cool song. But anyway, fantastic album. It's on Caldo Verde Records, which is his own label, and he's still recording today. So anyway, team, appreciate it. I hope that wasn't too long. I hope you made time for it, and it's a proper thank you for everything you've done for me and for the gift card this year.